chapters have been unlocked.
There you go.
Now,
So
which
those are
mission
unlocked.
should we
So
go on?
that's probably how I'm going to do these videos here. Wow, prequel and epilogue. Wow, so they may have a lot of chapters. I don't know. So that is the end of the first chapter there. End of the first playthrough. In the Curse Room prequel. This is chapter 1. I don't know how many chapters there are.
Looks like you can pick a chapter.
There's relationship
Looks
chart,
like you can pick a chapter.
match records, not sure.
Looks like you could adjust all kinds of things.
But switch over to in the game. So that is the end. And someone else told me in the comments one time that I play Ace Combat. Look, I have 0. I've never played it. I got this back in. Nah, it was sometime back in 2021. I don't even remember because I never got around to it. So, but yeah, here's this game. This is one of the games that I'll play eventually. Downloaded in 2021, and then my computer went down. I never got around to playing. So I do have Ace Combat 7. Anyway, so that is the end of chapter 1. That's the first right there. So, wow. So, I usually don't do this, but I'll go ahead and just give my thoughts. So, what are my first thoughts playing the game so far? As I anticipated, this is another casual anime game. I don't consider this a fighting game. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but like I said, I come from the era, like I said, my favorite anime fighting game of all time was Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, the 2D side one, not Tenkaichi, right? Budokai 3 and Infinite World, those were the best anime fighting games ever created. So I saw how much better the anime fighting games were back then. I know everyone's playing Fighter Z now. Didn't really get into it, but to me, that's just another Marvel vs. Capcom Street Fighter. But as for this type of game, these games sort of come from Tenkaichi, these anime style of games. So, and then everything shifted over to the Ultimate Ninja Storm style of games, which, for those who don't know, Ultimate Ninja Storm games actually came from, I think it was just called Naruto Ultimate Ninjas on the PS2. It was actually more like a Smash Brothers type of game. Yeah, look it up. It was that and Naruto Clash of Ninja or Naruto Geketao Ninja Tyson games. Geketao Ninja Tyson 4, that was the most competitive and the best Naruto game back then at the time. And then you had Budokai 3. So those were the fighting games. But Ultimate Ninja Storm came from Naruto Ultimate Ninja. They changed the formula, which I didn't realize until like last year when I looked it up. I was like, what happened to that game? But that game was more like, it was like Super Smash Bros. Look it up. That's where Ultimate Ninja Storm came from. It was not a third person game that became this huge thing. So I call these third person action games. I don't call them fighting games. I know people call them arena games and all that. So, but my thoughts on this game, yeah, it's just another casual third person action game. You know, I think, if you're a hardcore, it's difficult to say, if you're a hardcore Jujutsu Kaisen fan, um, you probably like the game. It's like, hey, it's the first game where you can play with the characters. I understand that. I've been through that. I grew up with anime since the early 90s. So I understand that. The whole sensation of playing with the actual anime characters. However, I do think that it depends, right? If you're experienced in fast paced games or fighting games, and you play this and you're a hardcore fan, you may be disappointed. But if you don't have the experience in the fast paced games or the serious competitive games, um, you may not be disappointed. You just enjoy it. I can see, little kids playing this game and they may like it for what it is, but people who are into the serious hardcore stuff, you're not going to enjoy this. just some things about the comments I was saying earlier. Like when I first learned how to, you can block. I think it's on this controller is LT. I want to say L2 so bad because I grew up with PlayStation. Um, so you hold LT, L2, LT, whatever, and then you press left, and the character will dodge to the left. You press right, character dodge to the right. Up, they'll dodge forward, and then back, they'll dodge back. As I've explained earlier in the video, after you do that, there seems to be approximately 3 to 4 second, at least 2.5 seconds, at least 2.5 to 4 seconds, somewhere between there, of a delay that there's a window that leaves the character vulnerable. So imagine there's another, because I'm already saying there's multiple characters that have freaking projectiles. Who knows if some of them have really good homing abilities? Can they home in on you? I don't know yet. But what I've noticed is that I press it over, the dodge over, and it leaves me vulnerable. Like when I was practicing against Gojo when he first was showing it in the training. That's a huge problem. Um, so if you use that, that's why I was hardly using it because like I used it a few times, but just keep in mind there's that window. If you dodge over and some huge projectile's coming at you, you're screwed. Because you can dodge over you, and I'm holding down because it's the block button. I'm still holding down the block button, even though I dodge over. It's one of these games where it doesn't matter if you're holding it down; it's not going to block it. So it's not a competitive game. It's another casual anime action game. Just enjoy the characters, right, for what they are. It's the first Jujutsu Kaisen game, the first major game. So to be honest, I still think every anime every anime game should have a fighting game that follows the formula of Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, but that's just me. Slash Dragon Ball Z Infinite World. It was its own unique thing. I've created entire videos where I have explained that and why I liked it so much back then. It was unique. It wasn't a Street Fighter. It wasn't any other games. Tekken, Street Fighter, Dead because I grew up playing Dead or Alive. It's not like it's not Marvel vs. Capcom. It's not like any of those other games. It was its own unique fighting game with its own mechanics. But and I see this game here. It does have its own mechanics, but like just that there alone, that's one example of something I don't like. To do the tag team, literally once I guess you get a certain energy bar level, all you do is hold the down button and press the X button or be square button on PlayStation. So you just tap it over and over and down until the tag team happens. And the combat's basic, very basic. It's more basic than Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles. I have like 400 or more videos on that. I have hundreds of videos on that. That's from this channel started on was Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles. In case you're curious. So, um, yeah, the combat. You know X X X X, three X's, four X's. That's the full combo. And then after that, you can press Y, and then maybe you can press B, right, which would be circle on PlayStation. And then, this is trying on PlayStation. Or you press B or press B and down. Now, some characters are unique, like Gojo. When I press down B, he did his hand sign, and he actually teleports over. He sped over to the enemy, like behind them, and just like a move. So it's unique to each character. But then I can see some of those being sort of cheap, like that with Gojo. Like, okay, he's just gonna. It's not a fast like teleport move, but the fact that it can happen and that like okay, other characters can't really do that with the B move. Like, I feel like if you screw up on an attack, because the attacks have very long recoveries. After you do an attack, there's a long delay, a long recovery into which you can either attack again or start blocking. So, well, that's what I've experienced so far. So if you attack, you do some major attack and you miss, Gojo, down B, down circle, teleports behind you, free move. So what I've noticed is that the strong points in this game, um, where it really shines, is going to be the team battles. The single battles, so like I wasn't entertained. The team battles they were a little more entertaining. Um, but then you have to keep in mind if is the enemy gonna try to gang up on you, blah blah blah, gang on this character, that character. I don't know if there are 2-on-2 matches. I don't really know yet. I don't even know if I'm gonna get into that. Um, but the team battle, and again, just to do that ultimate team move down in X, to do the domain expansion, the Bunkai, you just press the two back trigger buttons, right? LT, RT, L2, R2. So do that, hold it down, boom. Once your energy's built up, you'll be lucky if you hit it, I guess. So I guess I didn't do it with Gojo because I didn't know, but with Gojo, he had a move I was doing it with. Was it? I think I was just holding down the R trigger with Gojo somehow, and it was like, and I charged it up, but I didn't know that. But I held it down, charged it up eventually, and like I said, he's like he has a projectile, right? Obviously, and just boom. So I think the team battles is where the game really shines. In aerial combat, the jumping and dodging around the air, that'll be the only sense of speed you have in this game, based on what I'm saying. You're gonna run on the ground over and over. Like it seemed like I was running out. I think there is a running gauge or something. I don't know because it seemed like I was running, but then I stopped at one point. And I got hit. So I didn't really pay attention there. I think they did say there was a gauge for how much you can run, sort of like a stamina gauge. The aerial combat. That's where you're up in the air. That's another area where the game will really shine. So a lot of dodging around the air, but then you have to be careful because it seems like even that can leave you vulnerable in the air. I think obviously it's like they can sort of fight in the air. I've seen it. So I think you can block because I think I did block while I was traveling in the air at one point. So you can block, but if you are dodging around the air and there's some character has a crazy freaking projectile that can home in, I don't know how good the homing abilities are, if there are homing abilities like that in here. But if you're jumping around the air, that's just an opening for like some ultimate attack or something. Literally, like from Gojo or something. So, those are just some of my thoughts. So far in the game, I'm gonna finish the playthrough, and then eventually I'll do some versus mode against like the computer PC. I like, other than the team play, I'm not even sure this game people will like it online. Um, I don't know. Again, if you're a person who's in the hardcore fighting aspect, you're not gonna like this online unless you want to do cheap stuff. I don't know. You know, I just is my honest sort of early review here, and I'll do a review later on after I finish the story and after I do some battles, in versus mode and all that. Um, so do I think that because I paid today what 59.99 here on Steam? Do I think that this game is worth 59.99? No, I do not. Right? I would take this game back to dude when I was growing up playing the games like back on Nintendo 64 days, Dreamcast. Video games in the store were between 39.99 and then you have 49.99. But now games are like 59.99 and 69.99. They're like super expensive these days, right? Compared to back then. Like games were not as expensive. Of course, the economy's changed and all that. So if there are any people who are not aware of that, video games used to be much cheaper. And this game, I'm telling you, like back then, like right now, I would say this game is 29.99 or a 39.99 um price range. That's my honest opinion on it. I'm not hating on the game at all, but it's just like it's honestly it's not that super entertaining so far from what I've been playing. And another thing I've noticed is a lot of the dialogue. Like I said, I'm just you hear all the clicking on the right on the keyboard here. That was a lot of the dialogue, clicking on the keyboard there. And eventually, I just started pressing the A button just to sort of speed through some of those. And then the actual dialogues, there are no characters talking. It's sort of still images from the anime, and they're just sort of moving the images left and right. So that was pretty much the dialogue. And so like there were like two missions in the row that was literally just all that keyboard typing and the sound effects and just the keyboard sound effects and the text coming on the screen, and then like the just the images from the anime sliding by. It's cool that they had the voice actors there, but there wasn't anything more than that. So and like there were two whole missions like that, and it said complete, right? So no actual rank, but okay. I'm just listening to the characters talk for two missions in a row, and I was waiting to play, waiting to fight, getting a little sleepy. So I mean, it is as you can see, 2:09 a.m. I'm up doing this stuff, man. So just working on things, but so But yeah, those are pretty much my honest thoughts. Like I said, this is a $29.99 or $39.99 game. I haven't even finished the game, but that's all I'm saying right now. I'm recommending if you're a hardcore fan, buy the game. If you really want to play Jujutsu Kaisen, first video game. If you're not a hardcore fan of the series, um, especially I don't know, if you don't even watch anime, I don't even know if I recommend you get this. But if you watch anime like me, you're not a hardcore. It's like I said, I've only seen the season one. Whatever showed on Adult Swim in the last episode that aired, I looked it up, said March 27, 2001. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to remember everything that happened. So but I haven't seen the latest season stuff, season two. Haven't seen any of that. So I don't really know what's new, what's going on. Um, the last I remember seeing, they fought the huge hollow demon that could like summon the trees, and there was that crazy animated scene, right? There was like that giant tree scene. That's the last thing. I think that was the final battle. That's where I left off. That's how far behind I am. So I'm just sort of waiting for the English dub right now and everything. Since I'm behind, but yeah, if you're a hardcore fan, buy the game. Like me, you watch the anime, but you're not like a hardcore fan. Um, and you know that a lot of things in Jujutsu Kaisen were taken from Bleach, then I don't recommend you buy it right now. I don't know. I say you wait until the price drops down. Um, I give the honest reviews, like I said, and I have lots of experience with games over the years. So if you're sort of newer to the anime style games, and maybe you haven't played a lot of fighting games out there. I haven't played all the fighting games, right? But I have a lot of experience where I've seen like what can be competitive and what's not. And this is not the competitive type game. But like I said, if you're new to this in anime games, you may not understand what I'm saying when I say that in terms of it not being a competitive fight. But people who are into the games, they know what I'm talking about. So, but if you're a hardcore fan, you may like the game, but even then, it's like $59.99. You want your parents to really buy this game for you if you're like, I don't know, but those are my thoughts on it. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching the first playthrough. I'll probably upload this sort of early review as a video on its own as well, outside of the first playthrough. And so yeah, how I'll do it is like one chapter per playthrough session, and then I'll do a few versus mode. I don't know, a few versus mode battles once I get all the characters, and if anyone requests any versus mode battles against like the CPU, because that's honestly what I'm gonna play against CPU. anyone wants to see those after I do the main story, let me know in the comments below. I'll do the battle same way I did Demon Slayer games. But I think Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles is like I don't know. So far I like that better than this. But I'll play a little bit more. Like I said, I'll keep going. But that's my early honest review. That's the way I see the game right now. So that's all I have. See you later.